Okay, like I know this is probably going to be a really hard video to see. It's going to be very faint, but it's a really brief video anyway. And this is basically just camera around my house, Alfred camera. Like one of my phones turned into a camera. I'll show you kind of what I was dealing with before, before my kids got taken away. How do I put that? Before my kids were abducted again, and before my oldest son was taken by RPD 6 months later. Okay? This is what I was dealing with at my house. You see that guy? This is right in front of my house. This is like where the garage is at my house. It's sitting in the mailbox. Okay? Now I could slow it down a little bit. I've done that in the past where I slowed it down like frame by frame. Okay? Next video. And that's him hitting my garage door. And I don't know who this person is. I've never met him before. But not only that, but like I have my kids full time right now. Right at this point in time, I mean, I had my kids right here, so I wouldn't be outside or anything. You know, I wouldn't be in the garage. It was basically with my kids inside the, because we were getting messed with and getting harassed. That's the person hitting my garage. Now, this next video is a trip. Really freaked me out. I'm going to play it a couple times for you. I wish it was a little bit longer, but this is my daughter, and she's in my backyard, okay? And right here, like right where the arrow's at, okay, right where she's at, like right in front of her is the steps to my back door, okay? And this Alfred camera, or this phone, was sitting in my window, pointing out the back, like kind of like this, pointing out the backyard, okay? And she's out doing her chores in the morning before school. She's got to feed the chickens, right? So she goes outside and she feeds the chickens, and I was inside getting ready, getting the kids ready. Right, like the split second after she, you'll see my daughter, she's going to look up and she's going to say something to somebody. Right after she did that, she walked up to the door, and I kind of met her there. And I said, "What's going on?" I said, "And what are you doing, And she said, "Oh, nothing. She acted really like she did something wrong, but I didn't know anything yet, right? I was just like, "Ava, like, what's up? What's going on?" She's like, "Oh, nothing, right?" Now watch this video and watch what she says and watch what she does right here. Now what I got out of it, because I've watched this probably 100 times, is she starts to say he'll get so mad, and she's talking about me because I'm inside, like I'm her dad, like he's gonna get mad. Like, what is she? Who is she talking to, and what is going on up there, right? I mean, that was my first question. And then not only that, but she's right by the back door, so that's like the roof of my house, man. And I didn't see this video until, God, I want to say like later on that day when she was at school. I kept watching it over and over, and I was like, what is she talking to? Is she talking to me, She's talking to somebody that's standing on my roof of my house, dude. Okay, and the reason why I know that is because I've heard the footsteps up there. And she's looking up above the door, right? Now, I've like I said, man, I've slowed this thing down so many times. You can kind of see her like right here. And I kind of do like a slow-mo right here, where I can kind of do like frame by frame, like right there. She's like looking up, right? She's looking up past the door. I'm inside, okay? This, like I said, this phone is sitting in a window. I'm inside, and I literally like walk up right when she's at the door. Okay, so she looks up and she's not happy or excited or anything, right? And she just looks up and says, he'll get so mad. And then she walks in the house. Now, now this video right here is terrifying, okay? This is really scary, right? So I had split custody of my kids, okay? So I didn't have them all the time. I had them, like during the weekends, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I was listening to this and I kept listening to it and I was like, what is going on, right? I have a camera that goes in my truck and it basically records the rear view mirror, okay, in front of you, all right? And it's motion censored, okay? So it gets motion censored off, and something triggers it, okay? And you'll hear this screaming and crying, dude. This is not my house. This is not in front of my house. This is not pointing at my house. This is my truck pointing like back, like across the street, because I would back my truck in when I'd use the camera. It's terrifying. And basically the camera only does like a minute video. So like I said, my kids, when my kids are not with me, they're getting hurt, you know? They're getting abused. And I've heard screaming and yelling in my neighborhood. And I told this story to my friend Frank the other day, and I don't really tell this story very many times, but one night me and my son Jace were here. It was January 16th. It was 4 days before my youngest son's birthday. Okay. January 16th, around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. It was getting later, okay? And I hear some screaming, like at the top of their lungs screaming, yelling, okay? And I hear, Dad, 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 and start screaming, right? Like I said, like a squeal, like it freaked me out, right? And I said, Jace, did you hear that? Do you hear that, Jace? I said, it sounds like your brother. And my son was in the room with me, in the living room with me. He goes, what? He goes, like, really? You know, like, do you think? And Jackson and Ava had been missing now. Like, they had been gone from my house for 3 months, right? Since October. So October, November, December, January. We haven't heard from them or seen them or nothing, right? Not even talked to them a little bit. Jace is freaking out. He hasn't seen his brother and sister in months. I'm freaking out. Same reason. And Kendra's not answering the phone. Jason, there's no communication from that house. Okay. We don't even know if they're alive or dead. And I hear this screaming, dude, outside. Okay. And so I run outside, dude, and I hear Jackson screaming at the top of his lungs. I swear to God, yelling, Dad, help, please, help, Dad, help. And I hear somebody yelling, happy birthday, screaming, happy birthday, Jackson, happy birthday. And I couldn't see over the fence. It was coming from like 3 houses down, okay? It was coming from about 3 houses down. I couldn't see over the fence yet, and I was panicking, right? Because I could hear my son screaming, dude. And so I ran up and grabbed the ladder. I had a ladder on the backside of my house. And I ran up and I grabbed the ladder, and I got up on the roof. And I ran like as far as I could to the edge of the roof, man. And by the time I got to the edge of the roof, I could hear the screaming the whole time, right? And my son Jace is below me in my backyard looking that way. And I ran up to the top of the roof and got to the edge, man. And I could see my son getting dragged into this like a shed back there in the back of this house. I swear to God, man, I could see the person dragging him, and he was saying, "Happy birthday, Jackson! Happy birthday!" I called the police, man, and I told them, told them exactly what I was saying, right? Exactly what I just saw, and I said, "Man," I said, "I'm telling you that," I said, her new husband, her boyfriend, that he's messing with me all the time." And I said, and I know that there's a group of people that are terrorizing me, messing with me, and I messing with my kids. And I said, please, I said, just go. Can you please go up there and make sure that she has them. And I said, and they asked me if I'd seen him getting hurt or, and I said, it was him, dude. It's my son. I know it's like a couple houses down. I could tell you exactly where it is in the shed. This cop calls Kendra, okay, and Kendra tells them that they're at home with Jason and they're fine. I swear to God, and basically not to call again. Like he didn't even send somebody over here just to check it out to see if I was right at all, So I'm panicking as a parent, like about to lose my shit. I'm freaking out. I'm pretty sure that that's what's happening, right? Because why would they be screaming? Like, why would he be screaming happy birthday? And like my son's birthday is in a few days, right? From that time. And then not only that, but saying Jackson over and over. Okay. And then not only that, but then hearing like the videos, like where I'm hearing screaming in my neighborhood around my house, then I see my daughter fucking looking up on the roof. Like I'm seeing all these things, and those things are real. Like that is happening, And then to have the cops just basically say, you know what? Sorry, Mr. Snyder, she says she has them, right? That was January 16th, okay? On January 28th, my son went over to her house for a visit and saw his brother and sister and started talking to them and found out that they hadn't been staying with her. They weren't with her all the time. And he started freaking out. And so he called 911, and that's when he stayed there for 4 hours waiting for RPD to show up, and they never showed up. And then I went up. Jason called Reading Police Department, said I had a gun, and then called me. Had Jace call me to pick him up, and I went up there, and we got into a huge argument with the Reading Police Department. And Jason had a gun pointed towards me and Jace, and nothing happened. He didn't get arrested. And then 2 days later, Kendra and Jason filed a restraining order against me. And then a month after that, I found out that the restraining order case against me was dismissed. Okay. And I went up to the school to pick my son up and take him home. Like to take all my kids home, basically, because if the case has been dismissed, then it's over. And I got arrested in front of the school. And that's what happened. And then after that, like when I was in jail, everything got changed. The case files got changed. The reason why I got arrested got changed. The warrant got changed. I was arrested on a warrant originally. And then that got changed when I was sitting in jail as well. And so when you start saying all these things and you start talking about it, like a lot of people are like, okay, yeah, that's, you sound crazy or you sound delusional, but the thing is that this is human trafficking. This is people that are in control of my kids' lives and terrorizing my kids and not letting my kids talk to anybody else. You know what I mean? Like they won't, like my mom hasn't talked to my kids for over 2 years. My mom and dad in Sacramento haven't talked to my kids in 6 years. Like what other explanation is there if your kids just drop off the face of the earth? Like what do you want me to call it? You want me to say that they're fine at Kendra's house and everything's okay and I can't talk to them? So then last year, because I was pushing so hard to get help from like federal law enforcement up here to help these kids, help all the kids in the community and help my kids, all 3 of my kids got taken, gone. And right now, when I called, to try to get help, they say basically that, I got arrested again. I've been arrested probably like 7 or 8 times up here, man, because of this family law case. This one case. Thank you. God bless.